Good evening and a warm welcome to Big Budget Business. Today we're talking all things property and real estate related with Katlego Mokgethi, the founder of Vandakata Group. Katlego, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Big Budget. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your time. Let's start with an introduction of yourself, maybe your background. What would you like us to know?
I'm just a village girl from Rabani. I grew up in Rabani. I started my schooling at Hillcrest. Then I went on to Maikano ko Jiwawa ko Kasi. That's when ke simolla go tlhalefa yaanong. E botshelo ba mopako bo bogela no simolla go tloela the streets, and that's when I really started growing up, and then went on to Liduman Senior and went on to Botswana Accountancy College studying an associate accounting degree.
Okay.
And then I went on to study real estate. Actually, from doing accounting, and I felt it was monotonous, my plan was to proceed and do chartered accounting. I left that along the way because I felt it was not aligning with where I wanted to go. And then I eventually went on to real estate much later on, studied at Baisaro University.
Okay.
I've recently, just during lockdown, took up an online course on introduction to social innovation, something that I'm very passionate about, but through the University of Cape Town. So I like to keep learning. I'm a girl that likes to try things. Yeah.
No, that's great. I like that. And if for those watching at home, I think they can see that your story is one of continuous professional development. That's very important for us. Now, maybe let's get into Katlego, the entrepreneur. Where did this knack for business start, and how did you get to where you are, basically?
For as long as I can remember, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. But it's particularly because my father was a businessman. I grew up
Yes.
So, I think that's where I got the bug and the interest, and I just knew I wanted to be in business, but I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. That's what I struggled with for a long time. So after practicing as an accountant and just feeling like, Dota, this is not my space, this is not challenging me, I just need to do something better, I applied for a job as a facility manager.
Okay.
I had no background in real estate at the time, but I just had a knack for marketing and a knack for strategy and solutions. And when I applied for the position, they said, "What are you gonna do different?" And that forced me to come up with a strategy, and I had to pitch for my job.
Wow.
And I got a job that gave me an opportunity to work with entrepreneurs, because I was managing a facility that hosted 88 offices, smart offices. So every day I'm interacting with entrepreneurs, and now I'm being reminded, this is what you've always been passionate about. So seeing them every day, seeing them every day, and every time they come in and I'll ask, so what line of business are you in?
Yes.
And they will tell me, and I just keep interacting with them, and I'll propose solutions of what I think they can do better in their business. Exactly. Mind you, I'm not even a business person, but they're telling me what line of business they're in, and I come up with solutions, and they say, look, you should do this as a business. Your ideas are actually quite good.
Wow.
And then that's when the idea to do a business development agency came about. Okay. And I wanted to couple it, of course, with the real estate from the experience of working as a facility manager. That is where the entrepreneur was born in 2016.
Wow, quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's great. And it's fun. Sometimes life has its way of throwing you where you're supposed to be. Like you said, you are in the mix now, you're interacting with entrepreneurs, and deep down within, something is telling you, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is where you're supposed to be. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Vandakata Group, the organization and its services.
Vandakata Group It has subsidiaries in real estate.
Okay.
Vandakata does real estate. Market Players is a corporate social initiative of the Vandakata group, which does in entrepreneurial development.
Okay.
Then we've got a new baby that we're still grooming in waste management. It's going to focus on like toxic waste and repurpose of waste called Africa Waste.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 3 babies under Vandakata group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's
So under Vandakata we do real estate agency. We sell, let properties. We do property management. We're trying to drive towards doing property development.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, that's great. So now, the question that a lot of us have on our minds: why is it important for me as a young individual to be thinking about property?
Because it's really by far the best investment you can ever. It will never go out of fashion. If you invest in real estate, you're sure that you will be able to get your returns. If not, just at least what you put in. Real estate is property always appreciates over time. If you do your investments right, if you are calculative, you should be able to get your returns, as opposed to maybe short-term investments, your stock market, where maybe it might be volatile and risky.
A lot, yes.
Real estate has always been the most safe, stable investment. So it's something that I really encourage that Botswana should look into, but look into it tactfully, because it's one thing to just but it's another to have income generating property.
Absolutely.
So we need to be very smart with our investments.
Wow, I like that. You see, you can have those things, you can have the property, but is it necessarily generating income for you?
Exactly.
That's where the entrepreneurial part comes in. All right, no, that's great. Now, maybe let's get into the how part. A lot of people tend to only worry about investing in property when they perhaps are able to get a mortgage and the like. And so a lot of people sort of shy away from investment in property. But let's get into the how. How can young people out there get into this property space?
Yeah. I think our dynamics are a bit of a challenge, our economic dynamics.
Yes.
I think Botswana is, as much as we are a middle income economy at country level, at personal level, we are low income economy. So that is why most of the time when people want to invest in real estate, they look for financial borrowing, they go to the financial institutions. So which has been quite a challenge because not many people are able to meet the requirements. However, in the last few years, we've been seeing financial institutions make a considerable effort to say, re lemogile gore Motswana ga gongwe ntlo e ka ke eo ke 800,000 ebe re morare re ntsha 10% ka ntsha 20% go nna dingalo. So then the bank started saying we will fund 100% plus the cost of transferring, the legal fees where they would go 105, 110%. But of course, with COVID coming on board, any corporation wants to manage risks. We're now observing banks tighten their belts, which now is becoming another challenge. But I think, I would have said earlier, we need to be tactful and resourceful. Yes. It's very important for us to figure out the loopholes in the market. If the real estate is too expensive for you, or you cannot meet the requirements of the financial institutions, look at another way. One of the ways to do that is to buy the land and develop it, because made property, which is more expensive. If we were to buy a piece of land and develop it yourself, it would be much cheaper. And I think the other thing also maybe that I would like to implore Botswana is, don't worry too much about inner city property. It's okay to go to the city outskirts. We are seeing how the A1, that new Boatle road, is now pulling us south.
Of course.
With the A1 and a lot of the freehold properties along G North and Setloa, Rurete, those areas were pulling we're pulling north.
Yes.
So, if you get a much affordable piece of land in the city outskirts, you can still drive to town for
Of
work.
course.
And also we need to realize that we can actually build our own suburbs in the city outskirts, where you can actually get plowing field and then convert the use.
okay.
Recently, you can change land use.
Wow.
So even if you bought it as ilitimo, you can look into how you can convert it to a different use, and then either get into commercial
Or
real estate or
residential.
residential. Just figure out, play your cards right.
Yes.
Don't let the fact that you there's too much. Any market is like that. There's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of things that can always deter you. It's like that everywhere. But as an individual, when it's all said and done, if you are hungry for it and you want to invest in real estate, you can maneuver all that red tape.
Wow. Thanks. Quite insightful. So now that we're talking about, Gaborone and how it's growing rapidly, maybe give us your take on the Botswana property market, or your opinion, Hella, of the Botswana property space.
I suppose if you compare Botswana to other countries, real estate here is more expensive. Compare Africa Bora, which maybe is one of the countries that we would like to compete with.
Yes.
Real estate is much cheaper and accessible. That side, good if you are able to meet the bank requirements. It's not that bad because the prices are not so high. But I think what we sometimes underplay is our capacity as the market. Real estate, the sale price is it has to be fair market value. Fair market value, it cannot be deemed to be fair market value if one tekisetsa.
Yes.
I don't have I'm not knowledgeable about the property itself and the market itself. I have not done my homework. I don't understand, because then it means the transaction is not arm's length. For it to be fair market value, there has to be an arm's length transaction, such that you are not and our problem is we just buy. How to look at 800,000? I just buy. I don't really look at this. I don't check the structure, the quality of the structure. We've seen people buy Matlo looking really nice after a year or so, but you've spent a lot of money. So I think we need to inform ourselves, go out of our way to informing ourselves, to paying attention. Don't buy in a rush. You don't have to rush to make a real estate investment, because it's a long term, it's immovable property.
Yes.
You need to take your time, you need to do your research, you need to ask everything. Information, okay, this is a good investment, this is a not so good investment. Because also, as it's important for you to buy your real estate through licensed professionals, because they will advise you. As a professional, I'm regulated.
Yes.
I've got a duty to be to operate in an ethical, transparent, and accountable way.
Absolutely.
So if you see yourself dealing with an agent who pushes something down your throat, it might not be licensed. So it's very important for Botswana to check that whoever they're dealing with as their agent is registered with the Real Estate Advisory Council, is a member of the Real Estate Institute of Botswana, because professionals will always be accountable. They will give you the right information. And in the event that anything was to go wrong with your transaction, we are required by our bodies to have indemnity cover, such that if anything was to go wrong, then I'm able to cover your losses. But how there's a real estate agent who's a fly-by-night, there's a lot of risks that you are carrying. So it's very important we inform ourselves and we are able to contribute to the market responding to our needs. So the reason why property will be expensive is we don't inform ourselves, we don't negotiate, we don't at the end of the day, demand and supply. So if the property it is because we are buying. I get a willing buyer, willing sell. So if we are buying at that rate, it means we are agreeing and we are the one keeping the market there. So for as long as we are not going to be active and kind of direct the market by pushing the demand and
Yes.
sale
And
and supply factors,
Yes.
then you're always going to get a raw deal.
Wow, that's very insightful. Yes, so two things I picked up from there. We need to inform ourselves. So we need to do as much research as possible.
Yeah.
Because this, like you said, is a long-term investment usually. So we need to ensure that we undertake our due diligence and ensure that we are very knowledgeable on
Yeah.
what it is that we're investing in.
Yeah.
Secondly, the engagement of registered and consequently regulated
Yeah.
professionals. Because Ghana, if I engage you and I know that you are under a certain body and you're accountable to that body, at least I know that I can seek recourse
Yeah.
in some way.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas if I come and I appoint someone who is not registered, it's a bit difficult because who am I going to cry to?
Exactly.
And I think that's why, basically, I think it's the Ministry of Infrastructure, yes, they've gone on quite a drive to have registered and regulated professionals within the construction sector. Your quantity surveyors,
Yes.
you've got a registration council there, engineers registration board, architects registration council, real estate
Even
advisory
real
council.
estate,
Yes.
even the same way lawyers are also regulated,
Regulated.
because we want to be able to trace some. Kana you are dealing with the interests tsa setšhaba.
Of course,
You know,
of
ha ke tla
course.
go reka ntlo, madi a reka ntlo ga a selwe hela hela
Very
mo
much so.
tseleng, you know, so
Very much so.
you need to ensure that the people you are working with are people that are traceable, can be held accountable, and we need to be smart. Hey,
Yes,
you know, I've
yes.
dealt with people who they want to sell property, but they want the money in their pocket. But how do I level the paperwork? How with the property? You know, I recently had a plowing field that was not demarcated, and I said, as a professional, I cannot agree to saying money should be transacted to the seller when we've not finished the demarcation process, because it means this land doesn't have those single title deeds.
Of course.
So it's important for us to protect the interest tsa moreki le morekisi.
Yes.
So I would advise morekisi gore go and do ABC such that we mitigate risk.
Of course.
And when o rekang, if you want to buy, it's okay. We can do a sale agreement through
Yes.
the lawyer, put that money in a trust account to ensure that if anything was to go wrong, we can take the re ka go busetsa madi a gago. So as if you're dealing with a professional, ga ke na go akanya gore ke tshwanetse go bile commission
Exactly.
because I know when push comes to shove, I'm going to be the one who's held accountable.
liable,
Hey,
yes.
I'm liable.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So the importance, perhaps, of engaging registered professionals. If you're getting into such transactions, ensure that you know what bodies, regulatory bodies are there that can help you in a case where you seek recourse. Now, maybe tell us about some of the challenges that you've been facing as a business person.
Yeah. Hey. Wow, nothing quite prepares you for the struggle of entrepreneurship, hey? I've got it all figured out, you know, I should be fine. Oh, you take hit after hit after hit after hit, and you just have to keep pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. So what I can say about entrepreneurship in general is you can't go into it half-heartedly, and you can't so it's been difficult. I don't want to lie. I did not have any startup capital. Ke simolotse ke tsa severance pay ya me ke simolla business. Luckily for me, I didn't need capital outlay because it was a service business. So you know, other entrepreneurs struggle because they need equipment, and I just needed to have a place where I can work and market. The money that I really felt I needed at the time was administration costs and a lot of marketing, and marketing is expensive. It's very expensive, and you know, it's very important for you to build a strong brand. To build a strong brand, you need to invest a lot of money in it. You can't
quite
just
an exercise.
So the last 5 years that I've been focusing on establishing Vandakata and positioning Vandakata as a very strong and recognizable brand, and I think we've done very well. You know, for a company that was started from severance pay.
Quite a story,
Yeah, and you know, we struggled so much because you know when I started off, I was also in school and real estate. So you know, I'm paying school fees, I have to keep the business afloat. So you know, we lost so many times. If I were to tell you how many eviction notices I've had, if I were to tell you how many times I got a raw deal, if I were to tell you how many many times I slept hungry. You know, it's a
Ho
struggle.
rough,
Ho rough, and I think it's very important for us to make it le big budget but the truth is we need to tell the people the reality of the struggle, because we really need Botswana coming on the entrepreneurial side. You sleep hungry, you have to pick. Sometimes I have to choose between do I want to use this money to run marketing promotions on social media or get grocery. I literally have to make those decisions. It is that hard. So I have to choose the baby, because when you're starting a business, so you have to keep choosing your passion, because we are trying to create jobs through our businesses. We are trying to grow the economy. We are trying to diversify the economy. I believe that entrepreneurs have the duty, the responsibility to diversify the economy of Botswana lies on entrepreneurs, not government. I've never believed that, and I'll never believe that. So we need to keep pushing. That is why we sacrifice a lot, we fall and we struggle, and it's so painful, and we keep going, because we know that once Vandakata has settled, it can create jobs. It can diversify the economy. We can reinvest into local communities and be able to push us. I want to be a billionaire and build schools and build clinics. Big
and
budget.
it's quite attainable. It's very much
doable.
possible. Yes.
It's doable. We just need to keep pushing. I think now, because the challenge is on, I don't want to lie to you. If you start a business, please prepare yourself to fall so many times.
Certainly.
But it doesn't matter how many times you fail or how many times you fall. What matters is how many times you keep picking yourself up and fighting back. That's all that matters. Big budget. I had a meeting with an entrepreneur this afternoon, and they were saying, I think I want to disband the business altogether and start something else. And I'm like, no, don't get into the habit of giving up. Re-strategize. I've had to re-strategize Vandakata so many times. So many times in the 5 years that I've been operating, I've had to re-strategize, re-polish, because nothing prepares you for it. You learn a lot of these things as you go, as you are on the market, and as you are in the field of play. How some sort of spectator, exactly. Offside, but once you're in the field of play, it's hard, but you learn so much, and it prepares you. So you just keep restructuring your business. Re-strategize, and you don't have to constrain yourself and say, no, I will do this and not that. No, figure out how you can merge your talents, merge all your interests, and make money out of it.
Wow, thank you. Let me just thank you for that, because I felt that it was very honest, and you were a bit vulnerable there. And thank you for opening up. You see, it's a reality that the challenges will be there. It's not necessarily an easy feat. However, what I picked up from there is resilience. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to ensure that you have a resilient spirit. As much as you keep getting knocked down, knocked out, you get back into the ring. You re-strategize, go back to the drawing board and see, okay, they say we don't lose, we learn. Yes, so as we go back to the drawing board, we see how we can restructure things and then get back into the game, because you know what, our futures are waiting and are calling upon us. Absolutely. Now, there's something quite interesting that I picked up. You did mention that you spend a lot of money on the marketing aspect. And something interesting that I picked up when I was going through your profile and everything is 21 kilometers for 21 reasons. Yes. What is that?
I'm a big fan of running and cycling, of fitness. It keeps me sane. Stress entrepreneurship, you need to do something that keeps you sane. So I do a lot of running, I do a lot of cycling. I really enjoy it. So BIHL, the BIHL group was doing this promotion for the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon.
Okay.
And I entered and I won an opportunity to run 21.1 kilometers.
You're going to run
virtual, yeah. It's nothing. What's 21?
21. That's a lot. Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the 21.1 kilometers. So they asked, I didn't actually plan on doing this whole thing. It was just by the grace of God. Yes. Initially, it's been a COVID year. We haven't gotten a chance to do marathons, and it's something that I really enjoy. So when I saw the promotion for it, I was like, an opportunity to run and test how fit I am. Yes. Let me register. Then I registered for 21.1 and got an entry. And then they asked something that just really if they said, what is your course? Why are you running this marathon? And I immediately said entrepreneurial development, because this is something I'm so passionate about. This is something that I've been driving since I started Vandakata. I started Vandakata with a vision to reduce the failure rate of entrepreneurs, of businesses owned by local entrepreneurs in Botswana, and it's a weird vision for a company, right? It's a kind of vision that you have for an NGO or something.
Yeah,
but that was my vision since 2016. My vision was to reduce the failure rate of SMEs in Botswana. We're going to do it through business development, and then we are coupling it with the real estate aspect of the business. We've since restructured Vandakata to a group, and we've got Vandakata focusing on the real estate. Then we've got Africa Waste on the waste management, and we've got our baby market players, which is a corporate social initiative. It's a non-profit. It's a public benefit trust where we are trying to hone the business acumen Botswana, because what we've noticed in the 4 years that I was working with entrepreneurs through the business development portfolio that we had, I noticed that at some point each one of the entrepreneurs that I had consulted for, they had received funding at some point, either through a bank or through a development finance institution. So I noticed that in as much as we're quick to say businesses fail because we don't get funding, there is a serious issue acumen, the quality of decisions we make, how we manage our operations, how we manage our money. New house, new people must know, they must see me, and we don't we don't give our businesses a chance to grow. Because as we work at the challenges that frustrate. So how many years I feel I deserve it. I deserve a vacation. I deserve it. I work too hard. And then that's how we cripple our businesses. So I realized for the quality of decisions we make really Botswana mo dikgwebong ekare we are not up to par. And I asked myself, okay, if naturalized citizens and just foreign business owners can come to Botswana in the same market that 2 million people do exceedingly well. What is it that they are doing better? It's so easy to point a blaming finger and say, Bona Baba, they're doing better, they're doing better, they're doing better. But what you can also do is say, teach me. What are you doing? Teach me, put me under your wing. And that is why I was like, okay, let's focus on developing entrepreneurship development for indigenous citizens. Part of the ways that I know when you say indigenous citizens, but I feel no, that is not the intention. What we are saying is, where have we observed the major gap and the major lack? More Botswana, it's like enterprise culture just isn't in our blood.
It's something that needs to be developed.
I keep saying, Kana Botswana in 1966. The focus was to national development through Botswana Skolo. So re fanda Botswana gore from standard 1 go itlheleng ya go tertiary gore a tle go irang a tle go bereka in public service or to take up ditiro tse at the time ne go bereka the expatriate. So the intention of government was we need Botswana being the one in this high position. And then we focused a lot of our resources as a country on education. Now what we find over 50 years later is we've got graduates that cannot be absorbed by the market. Because the rate at which graduates have come up and businesses have come up, deficit. So we need a lot of the graduates to spill over to the entrepreneurial side so that we create their jobs, because someone has to create the jobs. So that is where the major lack is, and I believe that if we can do a lot more business pairing, benchmark, invite naturalized citizens, foreign business owners to hear from them. What are your observations of the Botswana market? What is it that we might be overlooking? What are you doing better? We don't support each other. They've always been those gaps. How can we learn from other nations, other cultures, and then incorporate this thing into our own culture, into developing businesses that are citizen-owned? The reason why it's very important for us to develop citizen-owned businesses is reinvestment. Kana mo Botswana ga gona di reinvestment quota gore if I were to come, if I were a foreigner, ke tsana ke ira business mo Botswana, I am not obliged to reinvest X amount or X percent. If I've paid the taxes, and the taxes are, remember, self-assessment.
Yeah,
but that's a story for another day. Yeah, so nothing compels you to reinvest. But sometimes I say, if you are running a country like ours, landlocked, you can't be too hasty to say close, do this, because you need foreign direct investment. You need to balance it out.
Absolutely.
So me, ekare rentse re na le bagwebi ba batlang le di foreign investor ba tla mo Botswana, we can still be developing our own, sharing skills, sharing knowledge. Let's have that knowledge transfer, let's have that skills share, such that ka gore ga ke le Katlego yana ke tswa go abane, when I do well as an entrepreneur, the first thing that I'm going to do is to check gore ko lapeng seemo ke bana ba gabane ba na le dijo, ba khona go ya sekolong, are kids still walking to school, ba sena di tlhako, a go sentse go na le mathata a ditsela, there are schools tseleng gore we're still using the pit latrine go mo Botswana mona, there is so much lack all over Botswana, and it's very important for us to absorb some of the burden from government.
Of course.
By producing high flyers, millionaire, billionaire, mo Botswana, the way you see Botoni Elumelu, where you see Bostrive Masio, we need those kind of entrepreneurs coming out of Botswana, because they are able to say, let us help you.
Yes.
COVID-19, everyone was saying, rekopa wage subsidy, rekopa dijo. We need a lot of some of this responsibility being absorbed from government, private sector, to close these gaps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So there's definitely much more to it than just running 21 kilometers.
It's oh my God.
You're
It's something that I'm very, very passionate about. We currently have a radio feature. We focus on what we do every week is we profile an industry, we bring in an expert to teach, because the more we put out the information, the more we transfer skills, share knowledge. We tend to think common sense or common knowledge. No, my experience working with entrepreneurs is that things as simple as day-to-day management, petty cash management, staff, you need to incentivize staff. These are things that we take for granted. We do business ad hoc, shortcut. We don't really do it trying to build legacies, trying to build businesses. Ke sa tlhole ke le mo botshelong Vandakata e bentse khona go create employment, e bentse khona go invest in the economy, because businesses need to exceed us. They don't have to die with us. So how do I lebella rona ela re le mo Botswana re ka re na leng se leng gore all over the world re tumile ka sone, because the Americans bana le KFC, I think le McDonalds, I think F&B in South Africa, a lot of these countries have something that they're prideful about. We need to develop businesses that we can take to the world, the multinational corporations, and stop just being the SME. Why is it that we fail to transition from SME level to multinational corporations to large-scale businesses? Something is fundamentally wrong, and we need to do something about it.
Wow. You know what? You are so passionate.
Yeah.
We need to do a part 2.
I'd love that. I'd love that very much.
I think it's quite insightful what you're saying, and it's very important for us to see how we can fill this business side gap.
Yeah.
But okay, maybe in closing, how can people access the services of Vandakata?
Hey, we are based in plot 896 Kaunda Road. Our numbers are 76345810. You can also email us at sales@vandakata.com. Vandakata is VANDECARTER. You can also follow my campaign. It's hashtag 21 kilometers for 21 reasons, where I'll keep sharing le Botswana why we need to develop enterprises in Botswana, enterprise culture in Botswana. So please share the posts. It's Katlego Mokgethi on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's Market Players, Vandakata on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Follow us, follow the hashtags, share our posts, share my reasons, and just use those hashtags. Let's create the hype. Let's create that discourse, because I think the more we have the conversation and really talk about the challenges and the solutions, because I feel like we like to complain too much sometimes about the problems. We need to move swiftly to solutions. What can we do? How can we do it? And then now move towards action, so that we don't now just have a bunch of solutions, because I think sometimes that's our problem. Great policies on paper, great ideas on paper, no implementation. We need to now move towards implementation and ensuring that we see those businesses grow, those businesses transition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Katlego, this has been quite an interesting interview. Let me thank you once again for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Big Budget. It has been so much fun.
Wow. Right, our 2-minute tip for today. So you've developed your product or your service, and it's time for it to go to market. But this begs the question, how am I going to price my product or my service? So in thinking about these pricing aspects, there are 4 basic strategies that you can use. So briefly, number 1, we have what we call penetration pricing. And penetration pricing is basically setting your prices lower than competitors so that you can penetrate the market. And then, of course, as time goes by, you can then increase your prices. Number 2, we have premium pricing. Now, premium pricing is usually for unique products where you have competitive advantage. You can then set your price higher than competitors. Number 3, we have what we call competitive pricing. With competitive pricing, it's basically you looking at similar products to yours within the market, checking what prices they are, and then setting your prices equal to those of competitors. And the last one is market skimming. And market skimming is usually for the new products. What you do is you'll set a higher price, because at the time when your product is new, you don't have too many competitors. So you're able to set your prices higher. So briefly, the 4 strategies for pricing: premium pricing, penetration pricing, skimming, and competitive pricing. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you so much for your time. From me, Big Budget, and the team, it's good night and God bless. And always remember that you were born for so much more.